Now you should be able to hear me.
Yeah.
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 You
Oh,
should
God.
hear me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like screamed. Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna leave it off until.
Welcome to the Comm Pod, a deep dive into the people that make up the School of Communication at Chapman University in Orange, California.
Welcome to the Comm Pod, the podcast where we take a deep dive into the School of Communication at Chapman University in Orange, California, and we learn about the people within it. I am your host, DJ Jimmy C. the Exoneree, and today's guest from the School of Communication is none other than Dr. Sarah LaBelle, a great professor here at Chapman University. So welcome, Dr. LaBelle.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm excited to be here.
Great. I'm delighted to have you here today, and we look forward to having a wonderful show with you. And we also have Dr. V with us today. How are you doing, Dr. V?
I'm doing great.
Yes, I have Dr. V with me also here today. How are you doing, Dr. V?
I'm doing wonderful.
Awesome. And let me go back to my guest, Dr. LaBelle. Dr. LaBelle, go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody. Just tell everybody who you are and what you do and what's going on with you here at Chapman University.
Oh my gosh, so much. Okay, hi everyone. I'm Dr. Sarah LaBelle. I'm an associate professor here in the School of Communication. I'm also assistant dean of academic programs and faculty development, the director of our graduate student instructor program, and the program director for our Trailblazer program. So lots of stuff I'm happy to talk about today.
Awesome. We look forward to delving into this, all this stuff you're doing.
Yeah.
So I want to just go ahead and begin by saying, it is such a delight to have you here in the studio at Chapman University. You and Dr. V. Dr. V, she's blessed us here today, and she's came through. Thank you so much, Dr. V, for coming through. And we're going to go off into it. We're going to ask, most questions are going to go to Dr. LaBelle, but Dr. V, we are going to bring you in because this is School of Communication.
Morning.
And this is what we do. We want to have a wonderful interview and inform our audience of who Dr. LaBelle is and actually what is actually going on in the School of Communication. There's a lot happening right now in the School of Communication, and today we're going to reveal a lot of it to you all out there. So, like I said, we're here, and can you tell us, Dr. LaBelle, what new opportunities have you created or been a part of throughout your time of being here at Chapman University?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I've been here for 8 years, but I think the thing that immediately comes to mind is founding the Trailblazer program. So if you've heard of that, it's a first-generation support program in the School of Communication that was inspired by my work with Promising Futures, which is the university-wide first-generation programming. But the School of Communication is the first academic unit on campus to have unit-specific first-generation support. So that means that our first-generation students are getting help from communication faculty, mentorship from communication faculty, and their peers who are upperclassmen. And so that's part of something that I've been working on. And other than that, I don't know, I'm looking at Dr. V, I'm like, what else do I do?
Yeah.
I think our graduate programs too is another thing that I think of myself as being a part of. I'm part of our graduate faculty, and we are so excited. We have our PhD program. The first class is graduating. They're all defending this week. We've had a very exciting week in the School of Comm.
Awesome.
3 new doctors coming out. Yeah,
Awesome.
exactly.
Awesome. That is phenomenal.
It is. It's
That is
awesome.
phenomenal. And I mean, Chapman University is moving so far ahead and doing so many wonderful things. And you've been engaging with the students here at Chapman University for 8 years. Mm-hmm. How's that been? I mean, give us the awesome thing of how that's going.
Well, so I
Excuse me.
graduated from West Virginia University in 2014. So Chapman was actually my first job, and I tell people all the time that I've been spoiled by Chapman students because they are so incredible. I just talked about our graduate program, but truly our undergraduate students, like yourself, are so driven and have so much to bring to the table. And so, it's like you said, it's a blessing to have been here, and it's the students I've worked with have enhanced my career, my research, my teaching, everything so much.
And as a researcher, what has been one of your like most promising researches you've done thus far?
Yeah. So I have two kind of areas that I study. I study something called instructional communication, which is the communication that happens in the teaching learning process. And I also study the creation and implementation of communication campaigns.
Awesome.
So a lot of what, our strategic and corporate communication students do. And I would say broadly, to connect it all, I study how college students communicate with each other and how that affects their well-being, both academically, mentally, in terms of their health. And so I've had a few lines of research related to that. One that a lot of our SEC students are familiar with, because we talk about it a lot, is I've studied Adderall misuse on college campuses and how peer communication affects that, encourages it, how we can mitigate Adderall misuse. And what I mean by that is people who are taking Adderall who are not prescribed it to study and stuff like that. So we've developed campaigns around that, addressing that on campus. But I would say the line of research that I've done the most work on is I forwarded a concept called student confirmation. And that is how students in the classroom validate and support each other and kind of help each other get through it.
Right.
And it's actually a line of research with my husband, which is really funny, but he's a professor at Cal State Fullerton.
Okay, shout out to him.
Shout out to Zach Johnson at Cal State Fullerton. But we have a line of studies that are showing that really matters, and it's not something that we necessarily think about in designing classes, is how we can have students support each other, tell each other they're doing a good job, like push each other forward. And so that's the line of research I've probably spent the most time on in the past couple of years.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I'm a stricter on mental health, and in our society today, mental health is a major cause for a lot of different situations and circumstances that occur, and there's so many people right now that need help and need type therapies and need to be in situations or around people surrounding them that can support them, when they're going through something.
Yeah.
And I'm just glad to hear that we have that support here at Chapman University.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And that's, it was a growing problem on college campuses before the pandemic, and obviously the pandemic threw it into sharp relief. And so I firmly believe that instructors, administrators need to be paying attention to our students and their well-being and how we can support them. And in a lot of cases, that's just knowing the resources that are on campus. Chapman has wonderful resources, a lot of great staff and professionals in mental health. And so that's a big part of what I do, is trying to make those resources known and available to our instructors as well.
Yeah, well, that's a big congratulations to you and a big shout out to you for reaching out. We're nothing without helping each other.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's just a wonderful thing. So much continued success in that area with individuals.
Thank you.
As far as students here at Chapman University, has there been any particular level of teaching and interacting with students that has been something very particular with you, or very exciting, or the area of emphasis that you really love going in with the students? I mean, you've had students here at SCC for 8 years. Unfortunately, I went with communication studies.
Not unfortunate.
well, I didn't have an opportunity to take any of your classes, so it's unfortunate.
Well, thank you for saying that. But I would say I love working with students at all levels. I teach everything from SEC 100, which is the introduction to SEC, to 400, to I'm teaching a graduate PhD level class this semester. But the first thing that came to mind was my advanced message design class. So that's SEC 400. And the point of that class is to give students the opportunity to develop a real campaign. We have funding from the dean's office for it so that they can run a full implemented campaign on campus and evaluate it and see if it works. And it's not only a lot of fun from a teacher perspective. We always order T-shirts and stickers and all that fun stuff, but it gives students this experience that is so helpful for internships and jobs. And I hear about the many returns of it for years after students graduate, because they can go on an interview and say, look, I made this thing, and here's the behavior change that it led to. And so that class is a lot of fun. It's a little crazy as a professor, because for me, I love to be prepared for things and just over-prepared. And you can't be over-prepared for that class, because you go in and you're like, all right, let's make a logo today. And, it could go in any direction. And so I see myself as sort of just the leader, but the students bring so much to the table, and I have to just organize that energy.
Awesome.
So it's exciting as a class. It's challenging, but yeah, that's a good time.
So tell me, how did going through COVID, dealing with Zoom, how were your classes dealing with Zoom and interacting with students? Was that a challenge to you, or did it go smooth?
I think we all did our best. tough as a teacher because so much of what we love about our job are those moments where we interact with students in the hallway or, hey, you come to my office hours and we're just kind of chatting and we get off topic. And with Zoom, I mean, you log into class 2 minutes before it starts. Office hours are very like transactional. Like I missed, as many of us did, I missed the relational side. And just being on campus and feeling this energy, I think that I know it was hard for the students and it was hard for the instructors too. That's so much of what we love about what we do is getting to know you all.
Right.
And so, like I said, I think actually, speaking of that campaign class, imagine planning an entire on-semester, on-site campaign and having to cancel everything and make it a social media online campaign. My students did it, and they did it wonderfully, adapted so well. So it wasn't that part. It was the relational side, the interpersonal side that was really tough about those Zoom semesters.
With myself, I'm wearing glasses now because I went through this Zoom and being at the screen all day. And most of the evening, next thing you know, my eyesight went on me a little bit. So I'm like, my wife is like, get the Blu-ray glasses.
Yeah.
You get the Blu-ray. I'm like, okay, I'm a year in now, and you're telling me to get the Blu-ray. I've lost my sight, my closeness.
Right.
But
that
was the only thing with me. Everything else was smooth. I love Zoom.
Did you?
I mean, because I'm all over the country speaking.
Yeah, it's convenient.
And it's convenient. And I could be somewhere in Missouri. I could be in Iowa or L.A. or anywhere. I could be somewhere, and I can just log in and be in class.
Yeah.
And take care of that, and I'm back to business.
Right. Yeah.
So I loved it.
Yeah.
And it was very, very, it came at the right time.
Yeah.
It gave me an opportunity to do things outside of just class because, hey, I'll take off. And then, of course, we know in Zoom, you put a jacket on.
Yeah, you're dressed.
And you're dressed.
Yeah.
So I'm back into
I do miss that part sometimes.
Yes.
I'm like, ooh, it was very easy to get to class, no
Yes.
commute, all that stuff. And I do think it changed the nature of higher education. I'm bringing in guest speakers now on Zoom and not having to worry about the logistics of getting them to campus because our campus is outfitted now for the sound and everything else and the screen. There are some long-term lasting things that are good from Zoom, but I wasn't as enthusiastic as you.
That is awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And that's going to conclude our first part here with the intro with Dr. LaBelle. And we're going to ask you all to just stick around, and we're going to come back with our currently section next. So just stay tuned.
Current breaking, trending, latest update today, live headline.
Ready? So,
Wait,
hey, everybody.
What did you just say?
What's going on, everyone? We are here in the currently section of the Comm Pod, and this is where I just ask my guests to just share something like what's going on currently here at Chapman University. And my question to you, Dr. LaBelle, would be, we're in an age where there's a lot of diversity and inclusion and equity involved throughout universities, majorly throughout our world. But tell us, how is Chapman University being involved in diversity and inclusion? And give us some examples if you could.
Yeah, I love this question because it's really relevant to something I've been working on like literally this week. For the past year or so, I've been working with an interdisciplinary team of faculty and grad students from all over Chapman, applying to bring the McNair program to Chapman University. So we just submitted the application on Monday, after working on it for about a year. And that is a federal...
How about that?
I love that
McNair
word.
program. How about that?
It's a federal TRIO program, and it's meant to support first-generation, low-income, and underrepresented students getting into graduate programs. And so, we applied. I don't know if we'll get it because that's how grants work. But if we were to get it, it would establish research programs for undergraduate students from those groups to work with faculty mentors and get really, really specific guidance on things like applying to a PhD program, doing your own research program. It'll work with our SURF program. So if you've heard of the Center for Undergraduate Excellence, they have a summer research program. Those two things will be kind of going together. And honestly, regardless if we get the grant, I hope that we do. And if we do, I'll be the director of the program, and it'll be a life-changing thing. But regardless, I've seen so much energy put into this effort. I mean, we had professors in education and sociology. We're working with the vice president of diversity, equity, and inclusion, Dr. Stewart. And all we met was support. There was no resistance. It was like, yes, we need to do this. We need to start changing Chapman so that it meets the needs of our current students. Chapman's demographic is changing, where you have 20% of our students coming in next year are first generation, and that requires a different structure and different needs that need to be filled. And so I've been really inspired by it. And for me personally, just seeing, like, it just takes one person to say, like, hey, let's do this, and we assemble a team and we get it done. That was the similar setup with the Trailblazer program. And so it really has been something that has made me realize the things that I want to do in my job, to be passionate about it and to feel like I'm making a difference. And so that is a hopeful change that will be coming to Chapman's campus.
So we're going to go ahead and speak it into existence. You know, that grant has already been accepted by us. We're accepting it, and it's been approved, and we're moving forward, and we're going to put that right out into the universe.
Let's do it. U.S. Department of Education, listen to this podcast.
Yes, it's already done. So I want to just say for the audience, you know, this is where I love the diversity and inclusion here at Chapman University, and I see we're moving forward. You know, in a lot of classes, I'm the only person of color, and it's been an opportunity for me to engage with students that may not have had any interaction. Yep. I'm not your normal student.
Right.
You know, I'm 56 years old, come off the top, but I'm also an exoneree, right. and I'm a first gen student. And I'm a transfer student. Right. So I'm a lot of things happening here, unusual to most students. Right. But it gave me the opportunity to engage with the students and share my testimonies and experiences and hear theirs as well. And that's what I believe made it so special. And my time here at Chapman has been so special. But and also as teachers, professors like yourself and Dr. V, and that's Vendemia for all out there that don't know Dr. V. So we're just delighted to have you here and at Chapman University, the radio station here today. And Dr. V, we're just delighted to have you also. And we're going to come in with Dr. V in a few seconds, but we want to just try to concentrate right now and finish out with Dr. LaBelle. So, Dr. LaBelle, I'm going to go into my next segment, and that next segment is going to involve me talking about some heated questions or some heated things, and I'm going to come right back to you with that in 1 second.
Is it getting hot in here?
Yeah, it definitely is, but I didn't touch the heat, did you?
No, but now that I look at our guest, it looks like their seat's on fire.
It definitely is. Is it time for the hot seat?
Hold on. Goddamn heart rate's about 130.
All right. Hey, we are here in the hot seat and rapid fire with Dr. LaBelle. And Dr. LaBelle, it's going to be some questions I pose to you. They're going to be ranging anywhere from your favorite food to your favorite movie. But they're going to be hot questions, and I want you to just come off the top and give us what you got. So my first question to you would be, what is your favorite dessert?
Chocolate chip cookies. Can't beat it.
I'm sorry. What is your favorite dessert?
Chocolate chip cookies.
Chocolate chip cookies. Okay,
Absolutely.
That is wonderful. So my next question, what is your favorite quote and why?
There's a quote by Ram Dass. We are all just walking each other home. And I have it on my fridge in a Mutz comic. I don't know if you know that. It's a little dog and a cat, whatever. Okay. My father-in-law, who has passed away, sent it to us in the mail. And it's a beautiful quote because it's just sort of reminding us that we're all just helping each other through. And there's a little bit of a faith element to it, but yeah, we're all just walking each other home.
I love that. And who was that author by?
Ram Dass, Ramdass.
I love that. Yeah, I'm a stickler on, we do nothing in this life alone. And without fellow human beings, we're nothing.
Yep.
And I love that, and being able to give back and share. The best thing in life is being able to share. The more you give, the more you receive. I believe.
Absolutely.
Yes. So my next question to me, don't let me get off topic here. What is your favorite pastime and why?
Oh gosh, well it's a new thing. I have bought a paddleboard. And I've been paddleboarding a bunch.
What is
You're
that?
looking at me like
what is paddleboard?
It's a stand-up paddleboard. It's like, picture a surfboard, but bigger and lighter, and you have like a paddle, like an oar, and you paddle around. It's like a workout activity. Like I just do it in the harbor. I'm not like in the ocean out there.
Oh, so you're not in the waves?
No. I'm not in the waves with the sharks. Harbor.
Wait a minute.
Still a good workout, but yeah, getting out there and you said and why. It's a very mindful thing. You have to pay attention to your surroundings, your like sort of physical exertion, so you're paying attention to it, and it just clears my head really well.
You said with the sharks. That got me. I mean, because look, I was over at Newport Beach. I'm watching the surfers, and
I know.
and I'm saying I got to get me a wetsuit. I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you just mentioned the sharks.
I'm so sorry.
I didn't equate the sharks. You know.
So sorry. I
yeah.
hear they ignore surfers, or they
Okay.
find them tasty. I don't know.
Well, that's okay. So my next question to you would be, what is your favorite city and why?
Buffalo, New York. That's an easy answer. I'm from Buffalo.
What?
Yeah.
Would have never thought that. I love
It's
upstate
my
New York.
hometown. It's my hometown.
Love
Yeah.
upstate. Love Buffalo, Ithaca, Syracuse, Batavia.
Yes.
Look, I love upstate New York.
It's amazing. It's beautiful.
It is beautiful. It's cold also.
It is. It snowed yesterday,
Yeah.
literally.
See that?
April
Yeah,
27th. It snowed.
Yeah,
So it's different
cool.
than here.
I can miss that part.
Yeah.
So what is your favorite movie?
It's kind of a weird one, but the movie that I put on when I need to just relax is Forgetting Sarah Marshall. It's just a good. I've seen
Okay.
it 30 times.
Okay.
Yeah. It's an old one.
I'm not familiar with it.
Oh, it's
but
fun.
but I'm sure our audience is. And
Maybe not.
audience,
I don't know.
get that movie. Check it out. And my last question to you would be, how do you imagine our world in the year of 2042?
Oh boy.
20 years from now.
I hope that our climate hangs on. I'm a little worried about that.
Mm.
I don't know. I have a hopeful vision, but yeah, I don't know. I guess we're gonna find out. It's also not that far away now that I think about
No,
it.
that's 20 years.
I'm picturing like the Jetsons, and I'm like,
Yeah.
wait. It's like 20 years away.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah, we're gonna pray that our world continues
Yes.
to just just come back and
Yeah.
continue to put itself in a position to restore, and,
Exactly.
and hopefully we're not doing too much of polluting it to eradicate our existence. We
Yes.
don't want that.
Yeah.
We want to still be here, and we want the world to still be able to come around and do what it needs to do and keep us in a position where we can thrive on earth as human beings, all creatures.
Amen. Yep.
Yes. Well, I thank you so much for entertaining us here in this hot seat section, and I'll be right back with you all. So we are back, and this is the story time segment of the Comm Pod. So Dr. Drew, I'm sorry, Dr. LaBelle. I almost said Dr. Drew. So Dr. LaBelle, I want to ask you this in this segment here. We're just going to ask about a little story. Whatever you've been through throughout your time here at Chapman, or if you want to go and delve a little bit throughout your life, you can. Yeah. So tell us what drew you to Chapman University?
Oh, that's a good question. So, I think when I was looking for jobs, I wanted an academic position that would sort of equally emphasize research and teaching. Some schools, it's all that you're a researcher, that's all that matters. Some are more like all teaching, that's all that matters. And what I loved about Chapman is that it was a blend. You have to be excellent at both as a professor, and it's a high energy environment. And I could see even 8 years ago that Chapman was like on an upward trajectory and wanted to just keep on getting better. And that has been the case. And so, I think when I was interviewing and talking to different universities, I was like, I feel like this place has the energy that I want that will encourage me to be the best that I can.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
So what has been your most challenging moment thus far here at Chapman University?
That's a good. Well, we talked
If
about
you've
Zoom.
had any change,
Yeah.
challenges.
Oh, for sure. So that the COVID, and it wasn't just Zoom. It was walking with your students through a pandemic was really, really tough. And all of us having that uncertainty and that fear. Those were some really hard times. And as I mentioned, I'm the director of our graduate student instructor program. And so I was not only dealing with myself and my classes, but also trying to help our graduate student instructors. And they are amazing and handled it better than I did. But, there's 18 people that I also felt a responsibility for and making sure that they felt okay in teaching their classes. And so it was tough. We pulled through it, but that's the first thing that comes to mind is the time I was most challenged, definitely as a teacher, but also as a researcher. It we are expected to continue being productive during that time when so much uncertainty is happening and we're afraid. We're still trying to push forward. And so that was tough.
Understood.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, COVID has been challenging for all of us.
Yeah.
And hopefully we're on the back end of this COVID
I
thing.
hope so.
Yeah. I mean, there's always a new strain coming, but
Yeah.
hopefully we're beyond it and we're moving in a positive direction.
Yeah.
So tell me, what has been your most rewarding moment thus far here at Chapman University?
Oh, that's a fun question. I think what I love about this job is that there are so many rewarding moments. It's a job where you get like sort of immediate returns too. The one that pops to my head, and it's like sort of silly, but I won a My Favorite Professor award from the Office of Res Life, and it's a student-generated award. It's not like something the faculty vote on. It's not official in a lot of ways, but it is official, and it was official to me. And so I think that was in 2018.
Okay.
My students nominated me for that, and I just like cry. I don't know, like I am an emotional person. I was like sobbing, and they're like, "Calm down," you know. A certificate in my office. That was a really special moment, But all the things that I've talked about have been highlights. The working with the graduate students, setting up the Trailblazer program. Yesterday, we picked up stoles for our graduating first-generation seniors. So if you're a first-generation senior in the School of Comm, you will have a stole that says Trailblazer on it when you walk this year. And I got really choked up picking those up because as a first-generation student myself, I didn't even know that term. And it is a huge accomplishment, and we should celebrate it. And so... yeah, they're always happening, but those are some of the highlights.
Well, that's just phenomenal. So I look forward to wearing that stole.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. Wow.
We'll get you one, for sure.
Yeah, I look forward to being there. Yeah. So my next question to you would be, this is my last question also. Who has been your greatest influencer throughout your life? It could be here at Chapman or just throughout your life. Most of the time it comes before Chapman.
Yeah, I would say so, right?
Yeah.
I think... and I've had great mentors here, but my mom, I mean, probably a lot of people say their parents, but my parents are blue-collar workers. My dad didn't go to high school. My mom didn't go to college, but I learned my work ethic from my parents and my approach to life. I don't know anyone who works harder than my mom. I've known all kinds of academics and all kinds of amazing, amazing people, but I don't know anyone that works harder than Carol LaBelle. So, and my dad has given me a lot in my life too. My dad is somebody who approaches everything with a sense of humor, and I take that with me. I'm somebody who always tries to laugh, even sometimes when I probably shouldn't. And together, they really molded who I am. So I would say they're my greatest life influencers. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for that round of questioning. And I tell you, it's a blessing to acknowledge Mama. Mm-hmm. You know, a shout out to my mama, Miss Gladys Gardner. It's always a blessing to acknowledge Mama.
Yep.
And the position with you when you cried, it's good to release. It's good to let go. You know, let it out. Mm-hmm. Once you let it out, I mean, of course, we're all human beings, and we need sometimes to be recognized. And once we're recognized, we're in a position to show that emotion.
Yeah.
Let it out. You know, crying is not a bad thing.
No.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
So thank you, Dr. LaBelle. Mm-hmm. We're going to go off into our next segment here just in another second. So you all stick with us, and we'll be right back.
Are you ready to have your mind melted?
So we're back, and we're going to go into this section of Mind Melt. And in Mind Melt, I want everyone to know that this is just, we're going to pose odd questions, you know, philosophical questions, and just give us what you have, Dr. LaBelle. Just come right back with us with your best answer possible. So my first question to you would be, what everyday action would be funnier if you coughed every time you performed it?
I can't think of anything that would be funny. I feel like that sounds like a horrible situation to be coughing all the time.
Oh, it's different.
I don't know, maybe sitting down.
Yes.
I don't know. It sounds like a bad time.
Okay. That's a tricky one. So let me go to my next one, which, if there was only one cause that you could support in our world, what would that cause be and why?
I think taking care of the earth. I kind of mentioned that earlier, but it's an urgent need, and it affects all of us. We need this earth to keep on keeping on.
Sure.
We need to take care of our oceans, and I'm a big advocate for our national park system in the United States. And so there are so many causes that are worthy, but I think that's like a base level for us to continue on, is to make sure we're doing everything that we can to mitigate the damage that's already been done to our world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if you could give individuals a place to go if they want to just do anything to help, preserve our world, or be a part of trying to keep us in existence, the people coming after us, what would you tell them to go to?
There are actually a lot of good local organizations like the California Coastal Commission that goes up and picks up on the beach, right? Just trash on the beach. And so I would say think like local, because you can make a big difference in your local communities. I'm a big proponent of the National Parks Foundation as well, and we are very fortunate in California to have a number of national parks to support. So I'm sure there's countless, but those are the two that that I donate to and am most familiar with.
Yeah. And to individuals that use plastics, let's try to recycle.
Yes.
And there's a place called Garbage Island. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it.
No.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's just full of plastics, and they've just combined throughout the decades, and this entire island is just full of plastics, and it's just horrible.
Yeah.
But let's try to be just more cautious of our trash and receptacles, putting things into our receptacles, and being in a position to just let our plastics continue to be used in the right way and not the wrong way.
Oh,
Yes.
could I give a quick shout out to the Office of Sustainability at Chapman? Because I'm sure they have better ideas than me too. So
Okay.
we have one of those. Look it up.
That's
Ask
right.
them questions.
The Office of Sustainability. Thank you. So if you could only wear a black shirt with white text on it for the rest of your life, what does that shirt say?
So I'm somebody who doesn't wear shirts that say things, but I do have a shirt that says love on it. And I feel like if I'm going to wear a word, that's a pretty good one to wear around all the time. So, yeah.
I love that answer.
Yeah.
My next question, if there was only one cause that you could support in our world, what would it be and why?
Is that different than the environmental one?
Yeah, go a little different than environmental. Support something else.
Okay.
What about wrongful convictions?
Yeah, let's do wrongful. Yes, that's a great one.
But it's a lot of causes out there.
There are. I mean, I think a big part of like what I try to do is just listen to people. And so listening to you and your story, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, that is something that I don't think gets enough attention. And so I think just listen to the people around you and what they're fighting for and what they're advocating for. And I do want to give a shout out. I'm very involved in dog rescuing.
There it is, dog rescue.
I volunteer with the dog rescue once a week. Yep. Give it up to Labradors and Friends Dog Rescue. But yeah, there's so many social justice issues and just trying to make the world better for people. And so I think that would be what I'd say, is to just listen to the people around you and see, like you said, like, where do you go to make a difference?
Yes.
I've learned so much from people here at Chapman and just in life by doing that.
Awesome. My next question would be, what is your one occupation in the world? If you can have one occupation, what would it be and why? What would that choice be?
I think this one is probably the one that I would pick. Being a professor, I absolutely love doing it. There's a creativity to our job and mentorship and support. And, I don't think of other jobs that I want to do. The only other thing is like, if I could be like a traveling food writer or something, that'd be fun. Mm-hmm. but realistically, I'm where I want to be.
What about Top Chef or something like that?
I love Top Chef.
There it is. I do
like
also.
My favorite show is Top Chef.
Hey.
It's
Top Chef.
I can't cook that well, but I do love Bravo's Top Chef.
Yes. Awesome. So my next question would be, what is the one thing you wish you could do if you only had the talent? Besides surfing.
Besides surfing. I really wish I could play the violin. Man, I tried to get into like playing. My dad is a musician. He plays the saxophone, and he gave me a clarinet when I was little, and I was like, and that was it. That was the end of my music career. So every time I see someone playing a violin, I'm like, I wish I could do that. Just pick it up.
Awesome.
And
Maybe when you get a little time, you'll purchase yourself a violin and take a few classes.
So my husband says,
There
just
it
take
is.
a couple classes.
That's all.
I might have an underlying amazing talent for playing it, and I just don't know. So.
I think if it's in your heart to get more familiar with the violin, I think you should.
I'll come back in a year and I'll play violin. On
There it is.
radio.
You've spoken
How
into
about
existence. Spoken into existence.
Maybe give me 2 years.
Which one you want now? All right. It's going to happen. That's all we know. So if you were a leader of the free world, what would be your solution to ending homelessness, which is so it's so horrible out here?
I think I do what a lot of leaders don't do and hire people who are experts on homelessness. Like, my answer is that we need to provide long-term comprehensive housing that helps support people with all the reasons that they are homeless, whether that's financial needs or health needs. You know, there are people who do everything that they can and work as hard as they can and still can't get up off the ground with that. And so I think having a long-term housing plan, you know, affordable housing plan, but that's my actual answer is that I don't think that I know the answer. There are people who are experts on it. So that's my idea, but I would be open to whatever it takes. And I think that we have the means to do it too. If we can buy Twitter, we can end homelessness, right?
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. If you were queen or ruler, how would you bring about world peace?
Oh my gosh, what a question.
Hail to the queen.
Yeah. I was going to say ending monarchies would probably be the first one. Yeah, you know, I think so much of the conflict and the trauma that we have has to do with an unequal distribution of resources and people who are frustrated by not having the things that they need to get by. And so I think that would be step one to achieving world peace is to take care of people, to make sure that people have the things that they need. And you know, I'm a good friend with one of our peace studies professors here at Chapman, and she talks all the time about conflict resolution and diplomacy. You know, like people go so quick to anger, and there's so much potential for peaceful conflict resolution. And so that would be my route.
Thank you so much. Last question to you. What is your worst pet peeve? Not one of. What is your worst pet peeve? If you have one.
Yeah, I think when people are rude to like servers at restaurants or people in like the service industry, and that might be inspired by me working in the service industry. I worked at Tim Hortons. Shout out to that coffee chain. And people are just like unnecessarily rude. Like, it's so much easier to just be kind and be nice.
I want to concur with that. I worked in a restaurant in high school.
Yeah.
And the guys would ask me, "What? Well, we got practice. What are you going to do?" I said, "Practice is overrated. I got to go to work. I'm at the restaurant, Mama Mia's, Tampa, Florida."
Nice.
Yeah. So I got some good customers, some bad customers. I mean, it was a great experience.
Yeah.
But to those out there that are in the industry, you know, we want to let everyone know, you know, show respect.
We appreciate you.
Make sure you tip well also.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, I just want to just say, you know, it's been so wonderful having you here. I'm not finished, but I just want to just tell you, you know, you've been such a wonderful guest, and we've had Dr. V here with us, and Dr. V hasn't been able to say too much. Dr. V, can you join in on us for a second?
Yeah, sure.
So we have Dr. Vendemia here with us, and this segment has been so wonderful, but I want you to enhance it here at the end. You know, and you all are such wonderful researchers. Dr. V, what are you currently researching right now?
Oh, that's a really good question. Right now, I'm looking at how people evaluate images of women based on their emotional expression and sexualization to see how people socially judge that content. So that's something I'm currently writing up right now. So it's very on top of mind. But in addition to that, I'm working on some things with my PhD advisee, Jessica Journay.
Yes.
We are writing up results of a study that she is leading that is looking at romantic relationships and pornography use within those relationships. So some very sexy research.
I've been fortunate to have both of you as professors, you and Professor Journay, and this I want to tell everyone out there, gender classes, being in Dr. V's class and Professor Journay's class has been nothing except absolute for me. Absolutely just wonderful. And I'm so thankful for my opportunities. I didn't have an opportunity to go off into to Dr. LaBelle's classes, but hey, you know, we're having a great interview. We're here chatting and kicking it right now, and this is just a wonderful opportunity. So, I mean, you ladies are changing the world. Continue to just give and show your excellence. And I want to ask both of you, How is it when you see that light bulb turn on with one of your students? Dr. V, can you go first? What type of feeling is that?
I was like, just, it's the best feeling in the world. And that's why I think we do what we do is for those moments where things start to click. And like, that's the exciting part. Those are the stories we talk about. And the reason we come back after hard days, why you would come back. And because there's always the possibility of opportunity for that.
Awesome. And how about you, Dr. LaBelle?
The same phrase popped in my head, like, that's why we do what we do. I don't know if students are aware of how much they affect us as professors. So when we see that click and when we see a student like, oh my gosh, their research idea, they run their data and it worked or whatever, like we celebrate those moments like as earnestly with you as you're celebrating them. And so, yeah, that's what gets us through.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And like I said, the work that you both are doing is just phenomenal. As instructors here, Chapman has been blessed tremendously. And I just wish you all the very best. Continue doing such yeoman jobs here at Chapman University. And it's just been a wonderful opportunity. And with that, I want to just let all the listeners know this is going to conclude this segment, with Dr. LaBelle and Dr. V. And we want to ask you all just to continue to please tune in and check out Chapman Radio on chapman.live, and also go and check out Chapman Comm Pod here at the Comm Pod school, or at the school of not the school, but the Chapman School of Communication. We discuss what's happening as this interview here is, and it's gonna be such a wonderful opportunity for you all to continue to be informed with the communications department here at Chapman University, and all of the wonderful professors and the doctors that do their job here. And with that, I want to ask you all just to continue to just support and have a wonderful day. And we are out of here. Thank you all so much. You take care, and God bless.
Hi, I'm Jason.
I'm Matt, and we're the hosts of Sub Club on Chapman Radio.
KNAB on ChapmanRadio.live is an independent, student-run, internet-only radio station at Chapman University in Orange, California.
Now, back to the show.
Welcome to Chapman Radio's Fuck My Life. Think you're having a bad day? Well, someone else is too. Today I woke up at 4 a.m. to study and do homework, then worked for 8 hours, then went to the gym, and finally went home to study even more. Then I realized I'll never make as much money or be as cool as a YouTube celebrity. Today my boyfriend and I were taking a stroll when I was mugged at knife point. My boyfriend did nothing and just stood there while the mugger took my purse and my cell phone. His reason? The other day I disrespected him by texting another guy. I texted the guy happy birthday.